Today we're having a march and rally for equality here in San Diego as part of a nationwide effort to speak out against Proposition 8 and stand up for equality. The reason the community is so galvanized is because Proposition 8 did pass here in California, which means that a marriage will be outlawed, basically. The community has seen that their rights have been stripped from them. I think it's the first time, especially people in my generation, have really seen that they've had to stand up for their rights because it's been kind of been handed on a platter. The previous generation really had to take to the streets and do what we're doing today, and made it a little bit easier to be an LGBT person. But we just saw that our rights were taken away 2 weeks ago, and people are coming together in record numbers to do this. I don't know how many people are here now, but there's thousands here, and it's incredible. We put this together in about 5 days, and it's amazing.
On election night, I was volunteering at the Hillcrest Youth Center, and I spent election night with these teenagers who couldn't be involved in the process, who couldn't vote on their rights. And I watched them experience the collective moment of American joy when Barack Obama was elected. And then I watched them experience that moment of heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching ache when their rights were taken away. It was really a very bittersweet moment. And so immediately I got some friends of mine and we got involved in some of the spontaneous marches that started happening. And after November 8th's march here in Hillcrest, which was about 12,000 people, I turned to my best friend Tiffany and said, I've got to get involved. We've got to figure out how to plan one of these. I went home that night. I found on the internet a website called jointheimpact.com. I went ahead and signed up to join the Impact, and 1 week later we marched with 25,000 people here in San Diego. 2, 4, 6, 8, Prop 8 discriminates! 2, 4, 6, 8, Prop 8 discriminates! We all got here about 8:30 in the morning, and there was a sea of yellow shirts, which we had asked our volunteers to wear in order to denote them as volunteers. And there was just this sea of yellow shirts gathered here at 6th and Upas in Balboa Park, and it was amazing, it was uplifting, it was humbling to see. And as we got closer to 10:30, which was our step-off time for the march, more people came and more people came, and it just kept growing and growing and growing to the point where we had 10,000 people at the time we stepped off the march, which was just amazing, just exhilarating.
And as we're marching, march proud, march united, be peaceful, spread love, but equal rights. Yeah! Equal rights. When do we want them? Now. When do we want? Equal rights. When do we want them? Now.
It was really inspiring to me to see how many straight allies we had, how many families with children we had. We had representatives from the deaf community, we had representatives from the African American community, and all of them who were just there marching with us together. It was a sense of solidarity, a sense of community, and a sense of uniting for equality. We had such a great time. Oh my goodness, there's nothing more fun than taking to the streets for your equal rights. There's nothing more enjoyable than making your voice heard. There are 2 ways in this country that we are required by our Constitution to make our voice heard. One of those ways is by voting, and one of those ways is by marching in the streets.
During the rally, the speaker will give the signal, show your pride. We'll lift those colored placards in the air, and it's going to be the largest rainbow flag humanly made ever.
Show your pride.
Well, everyone was pretty passionate about the outcome of the election in November, and my friends and I, we thought that it would be a little more productive if we got people together to express their frustration. When we planned the rally, there was a website called Join the Impact that had just come online. They were planning concurrent rallies on November 15th around the world, and we contacted them to plan the rally in San Diego. We didn't find out until a couple of days later when we heard back from them that there was also someone else. Sarah Beth was working on the rally as well. So we got together with her, we worked together, and she worked on the march that came down to the rally, which was phenomenally successful, of course. And then Nick and I, we planned the rally.
We're not the same, we got to carry each other, carry each other. You come here for forgiveness. Have you come to reason it?
We had no idea what to expect. We were hoping for maybe 10,000 people. When we had 25,000, we were a little blown away by that. We were kind of running around last minute, trying to make sure everything was working properly. It was a real emotional time trying to get everything ready in time for this massive sea of people that were moving towards us. You can hear them coming towards us, chanting, and it's really exciting.
While we suffered a heartbreaking defeat on Tuesday, there are also lots of reasons for hope. We have a new president. 3 days ago, gay marriage became legal in Connecticut. New York, New Jersey, Maryland are all moving towards legalizing gay marriage. But what has given me the most hope in the last 10 days is you. I have never been so proud of my community. We have come together and united for this cause. Never before have I seen so many people step up and say, "What can I do to help?"
On the local level, we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of people that weren't necessarily involved in grassroots activism before educated themselves and have really gotten involved and passionate about this cause and about civil rights in general.
I would like to end my remarks with an open letter to the people that managed the Yes on 8 campaign. Dear Yes on 8 campaign, I pity you for your ignorance and intolerance, but I must thank you. Thank you because through you I have found my voice. And through your deceitful and deplorable campaign of lies, you have given a voice to a whole new generation of activists. You have given us the courage and strength to stand up and to say, we will not accept being second-class citizens. And you have given us the drive and determination to fight for equality, not just for us, but for everyone. And when you tell us that we can't be equal, and we can't have equal rights, and when you tell us that we can't marry, we will stand up and respond with 3 simple words that are sweeping change across our great nation. Yes, we can! 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 Yes, we can!
Well, it's really cathartic to yell at marches and chant at rallies. We must remember that there were 5 million people who stood on the side of justice and equality and voted with us against Proposition 8. There are many more who will join us. They just need to hear each of our stories, both gay and straight. So as I said, and as Nick mentioned and Randy said, talk to your family, your friends, the members of your church, your co-workers. Tell them how Proposition 8, stripping your rights, hurts you as a person. It's not a theoretical issue when they can put a face and a name to it. As an individual, these are your rights. You must work for your rights. As a community, we will regain our equal rights. Yes, we will.
There's a woman named Arisha Hatch who works for the Courage Campaign, and Arisha tells this story about how she was sitting taking the bar exam and there was an earthquake while she was taking the bar exam. And she talks about how sometimes your whole world has to shift for you to realize where your priorities are. And sometimes you need a Proposition 8 in order to gain the kind of momentum that we have now. And sometimes you have to have 8 years of a George W. Bush in order to get a Barack Obama. And so we're very thankful, and I am very thankful that Proposition 8 was able to galvanize our community, to rally our community around equal rights, and I'm very hopeful and optimistic for the future of marriage equality.
It's my pleasure to introduce your next city councilman from the 3rd District, Todd Gloria. My love to all of you.
You know, November 4th, 2008 was a day of extremely mixed emotions for me. While I rejoiced at my election to the San Diego City Council after a very long and hard-fought campaign, and I know that my opponent, Stephen Whitburn, is here. Stephen is a phenomenal advocate for our community, and I thank you, Stephen, for what you do every day in speaking out for us. That high of that victory for me was tempered by the very sobering news that Proposition 8 had been approved by the voters. How could 5 million Californians choose to deny so many of us our equal rights under the law? My faith in my fellow citizens was rocked by the passage of Proposition 8. But I'm here to tell you that I'm not sad, that I'm not angry, and I'm not pessimistic. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you to tell you that I have never been more optimistic about our movement's chances for achieving full equality. I know our day will come and we will prevail. You know, the late, great Harvey Milk had a famous saying. He says, you gotta give them hope. And brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you that there is hope. I have hope because after telling every voter in my district that I'm a gay man, after telling every one of them that I'm the past chairman of our San Diego LGBT Community Center, and after including a photo of my family, including my partner, on every piece of mail that they got, 27,000 voters in our district still chose me to represent them at City Hall. If I can be honest about who I am and still succeed, there is hope to be had here, ladies and gentlemen. And I have hope because after being punched in the gut, this community, my community, has stood up and said that this will not stand. That we will say with one voice, that we will not accept this result and that we will fight on. It is all of you that give me hope. You have restored my faith. You have given me the certainty to stand before you with every fiber of my being to say that I know that we will win. Now the work begins today. The work begins today, and the work will be hard. It will be uncomfortable at times. We will have to put ourselves out there. We're going to have to go to those places that we don't often go to and talk to those people we don't often chat with. We will need to have those awkward conversations with our family members, with our friends, with our coworkers, with our clergy. It will take everything we've got, everything in you, everything in me, to make this change, to restore the rights that were stolen away from us. Can we do this? Can we do this? Do you have hope? Harvey Milk wants to know, do you have hope? Ladies and gentlemen, we will fight this. I am so proud of you. We will make the change. I stand with you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you all so very, very much.
There is a bit of debate among the community as to whether we will return to the ballots in 2010 or 2012. I personally am a fan of 2010. I think we have momentum on our side. I think we have victories on our side.
Well, it's been a really exciting time for civil rights since November of 2008. Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, they've all legislatively passed marriage equality bills. The state Supreme Court in Iowa unanimously ruled that marriage inequality was unconstitutional and gave LGBT people the right to marry there.
We won in Iowa, we won in Vermont, we won in Maine, we won in Connecticut. And we won in the fact that 8% have moved on marriage equality, according to a CBS News poll that was published in late April. So we're continuing to have victories, and because of that, I think that it is extremely important that we go back to the ballot in 2010, and that's my personal opinion.
Well, we just have to keep working on chipping away at public opinion, getting people on our side, making our case that gay rights are civil rights, just like African Americans had to fight for their civil rights back in the 50s and 60s. There are a lot of similarities. You read the court rulings in Perez v. Sharp and Loving v. Virginia, and there are a lot of similarities between that and in-remarriage cases, which is when the California State Supreme Court struck Prop 22 2 years ago.
We encourage everyone to please get involved at their local level. There are groups across the nation and around the world who are getting involved in the equality movement and in the broader social justice movement. We ask that you donate 3 hours a month. 3 hours a month is the amount of time it would take you to go out to dinner, or to go to a movie, or to take a walk in the park. And we're asking you to donate those 3 hours a month to fighting for equal rights, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
One life.